What's going on, you guys? Kensu here, back in the building once again. Brand new video. My personal top 10 fighting games. Personal to me, not everybody else. Me. This about me. Me. It about me. Start with number 10. Street Fighter Alpha 3. Alpha 3 is by far my favorite in the Street Fighter series. In terms of presentation, you know, it had a great roster, really cool music, you know, bonus points because of guys in the game. The ISM system was ahead of its time. You know, I think that it influenced some other games as well, especially Capcom games and other fighting games to that, you know, capacity. It was great, you know. Obviously, everyone knows VISM is broke, but that's not the point. The game itself, I think, offered a lot to the players for offense and defense. You know, with the guard gauge, you know, how guard crush worked, how VISM worked with the custom combos. Like, it was just phenomenal. Number 9, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. Third Strike, in my opinion, is the pinnacle of the 3 series, and Third Strike is definitely the cleanest. Like, it looks cleaner than the other games, and obviously the mechanics I thought was just really cool. The parry mechanic, I think to some is like the best worst thing ever created, but I think it really made you play a lot more strategic, and it made neutral very interesting. It wasn't such a snooze fest in some cases, because some Street Fighter games, in my opinion, are kind of a snooze fest. Alpha 2. But that doesn't mean I like it, but I kind of like to see a little bit more faster paced gameplay, and that's the one thing about Street Fighter 3 Third Strike that I really enjoyed. Like, the pacing of the game itself wasn't slow. It was very fast paced game, especially with how dashes worked in that game. So the overall, like, the pacing was just really cool. So I really enjoyed the tempo of that game, and I always enjoyed watching it and even playing it at high level, right? So that's my number 9. 8. Get ready. One that you guys would never expect. Project Justice. Project Justice was just a whole lot of fun. I have a lot of memories in my high school days and late, you know, early college, where I played a lot of Project Justice, and me and my friends, we just had a whole lot of fun playing this game. A lot of cool characters. It is the last game in the Rival School series, but kind of sucks that Capcom didn't make a new one after that. But regardless, it was still a really fun game. I think the roster is very memorable for a lot of people. The system mechanics themselves are kind of silly with target counters and how that stuff worked, but you know, it's fun. The bulk of this game is fun. Really cool music, really cool characters. I mean, the presentation was just great for its time too, so definitely a great pick for me. I really enjoyed this game. Number 7, from SNK, Rage of the Dragons. Let me just start out here with, I like Double Dragon, and I like Double Dragon. But in all seriousness, it had a very fun combo system, very fun. You know, the tag system for the game was really interesting for its time. Of course, there's certain ways to like initiate tag combos. You required a wall. Some things didn't have walls, so sometimes you would get into the tag combo a little differently than others. It had all kinds of cool combo routes, so it made it made for a fun game to explore, like the different combinations, because it was a 2v2 fighting game, right? So it was kind of cool to see some of the actual team interactions. So they had team supers and stuff like that, and it was just really cool. Of course, there were some issues, you know, along the ways with like the licensing stuff for the Double Dragons and whatnot, from what I understood, but it doesn't change anything. You know, it's still Billy and Jimmy. I grew up with Double Dragon, you know, as a kid in the arcades, so like this when I saw an actual fighting game for it, that, well, mind, this is the second Double Dragon game that SNK made, but this one just really made Billy and Jimmy look really cool, and the additional characters just, you know, it was just really cool to just see like an evolution of Double Dragon that wasn't a beat 'em up. Did I mention that I love Double Dragon? I really love Double Dragon. So next up on the list is number 6, Guerrilla, Mark of the Wolves, the last in the Fatal Fury series. I think this is probably, in my honest opinion, the best Fatal Fury game, probably hands down. I actually started a lot of my fighting game trek with the Fatal Fury series over Street Fighter, which is probably the reason why people know me as an SNK head, for that matter. But I think this game was definitely SNK's answer to Street Fighter 3, and it had a just defense system, which is very similar to parry, but it's safer because you block instead of, you know, pairing with your face. So the risk reward behind it was a little bit different. I think it offered so much to the player. You know, it had a nice little TOP system where basically you would choose where you would hit harder. You know, be it in the beginning of your life bar, middle of your life bar, end of your life bar, and you can make it bigger or shorter. You know, just defend was a cool mechanic. You know, it gave you life back, bar in which you just defend. It was just a really neat game. It took all the mechanics, specifically guard cancel, and added stuff to it with just defend. So it really made for a really unique experience for offense and defense. The pacing of the game was really cool. The break system, where basically you could break cancel or Roman cancel or feint special moves, specific special moves for that matter, and also you can feint normals. So everyone in a sense could be a lot like Sea Viper or Johnny, where they're like, they'll press a button, feint, cancel the button with a special move, feint, and then continue pressure. So pressure in the game was never boring. It was always dynamic, always unique. The combos in the game at high level were so just a really awesome game to play. So not to mention it introduced so many cool characters, like, you know, the famous Rock Howard was introduced, you know, Terry's new bomber jacket, you know, you had the Kim brothers. It was just really cool to see like the evolution of Fatal Fury and introducing so many new characters that so many people love. So my number 6 is definitely Guerrilla Mark of the Wolves. Number 5, another SNK game. Surprise. King of Fighters 11. KOF 11 is like the Marvel vs. Capcom of the KOF series. It is by far the most nutty game of them all. And I think that's what made this game super fun to play. Like, so many different combinations you can do with not just, you know, your team or the theme team. So for example, like Kyoyori, I think it was Shingo was a team, I think it was. Like, you can do so much with that team, but if you branch out and try different combo routes, and dude, it's insane. Like the combinations for combos, the combinations for tech and strategies is insane. And it really made for a very fun experience for me. The roster was cool. Vanessa's amazing in that game, by the way. I love me some Vanessa. Vanessa in that game is so fun to play. Like, it's... Whew. I think I spent a lot of time in training mode just trying stuff out with other characters, and I don't know, it's a really fun lab game. So that is... Whew, I don't even know how I can keep going on with this. This game, when I'm just thinking about it, this game is just so much fun. So that is my number 5, KOF 11. Number 4. This one might come as a surprise to some people, but it is Guilty Gear Revelator. Rev 2 and the Xrd series as a whole was just great for me because it was the return of Guilty Gear and the return of me to play, you know, my favorite character Chip, and just see everyone else come back. The new animation, like, it's just insane. Like, ArcSys has taken the cake in animation and shown that they can do a cool 2.5D, 3D, if you will, type of fighting game and be very successful at it. It's something that ArcSys is really known at. You know, they're really known for like coming up with really stylish things and having deep gameplay. And for what it's worth, the animation style of this game has moved on to several other projects for ArcSys. So Grand Blue Versus, and everyone knows Dragon Ball Fighters. So, you know, Arc just never ever, for the most part, they never failed to deliver in their presentation department. So it was really cool reuniting with Guilty Gear again with the Xrd and Rev series. So number 3, surprise, another King of Fighters game, KOF 13. King of Fighters 13 is by far the most beautiful game in the KOF series. It has a great combat system, stylish combos make it not only great to look at, but hella fun to execute. Easily one of the most memorable OSTs within the series. Like, it just, this KOF to me has it all. I would say KOF 13 is by far the pinnacle of the series. It's a very technical game. As I mentioned already, it takes execution. I already mentioned already, but yeah, the combos are just so much fun to do. It'd be nice if SNK would re-release the game again with rollback netcode like they have been other games, Mark of the Wolves and Last Blade 2. But hopefully we'll see somewhere down the line if that's at all possible. If not, that's okay. KOF 13 is still a game that is close to my heart. Number 2. Number 2 on my top 10. Guilty Gear Accent Core. AC is probably the best game in the XX series, and it gave so much to every character. So every character has a lot of dirt or some really cool tech that you can utilize, and it makes it for a very fun experience. Some characters obviously throughout the series got their nerfs and buffs, and this is the last one in the series, of this series for that matter. This game just never got stale. This game always evolved, which is pretty cool to see, especially in Japan. It's probably one of the most beloved Guilty Gear games. I mean, this game basically sprawled an update that a lot of people love, and that update is +R, with new balance and additional characters. So you definitely know this game was a classic. You know, a lot of people love this game. So I guess you could say it's a shout out to AC and AC +R. Even though I don't play +R, I do respect the people who do play it. I'm an old man. I love to play my old man Accent Core. You know, I'm like an ST player. You know, don't give me HD remix. But you know, for those who do love it, you know, they have such a great foundation with Accent Core into +R. So it's really cool. And that is my number 2. Number one. My number 1 in my top 10. Well, what can I say about this game? This game is the game that actually got me into the fighting game scene. This is the game that taught me how to lab a fighting game. It taught me how to learn how to be good. I love to explore fighting games, but I think this is the one fighting game that I probably took the most time to learn so much at. And that game, my friends, is Capcom vs. SNK2.
Capcom. This is the tournament for the new millennium. You'll experience the most exciting battle in history. Let's get ready to battle. Feel the intensity when power and technique collide. Crush the competition. A battle beyond your imagination. Let the martial arts madness begin. 2001 is the year we make contact. Welcome to the revolution.
This game literally is the game that started it all for me in my journey to competitive fighting games. It really is. This is where it began for me. This roster was so good. The system mechanics were amazing for its time. It built off the foundation of Street Fighter Alpha 3 with the isms and moved into the groove system, so CAP, SNK, and it just made it something even more extravagant, you know. Not to mention, this was one of the most like anticipated crossovers. Like, you know, everyone wanted to see this, you know, in like the history of fighting games, especially at that time when like SNK and Capcom were the only two really kind of duking it out in that regard, in terms of fighting games. So like seeing these two companies have their characters go at it was just, it's just phenomenal. It was just phenomenal. The roster was cool. The music was cool. You know, CVS1 obviously existed, and CVS1 is really cool presentation-wise, but I think CVS2, much like Third Strike, and this is the thing about Capcom, once they do their first game, they tend to make their second games, at this time, so much more than the first game. Like, they really go all out, you know, so, oh man, dude, I really can't stress it enough. This game was just something, it was something else. It was just ahead of its time. So, that is my number 1. And there you have it. That is my top 10 favorite fighting games. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed and learned something new about things that I enjoy. Make sure you smash the like button and the subscribe. You know, the typical YouTube stuff that people tend to say. Yeah, just smash all those things and leave comments below. Tell me what your top 10 are. You know, typical YouTube jargon. So that being said, I'll catch you guys later. Catch you in the next video. It's your boy ShinKensou signing out. Deuces gooses. Wait. Hold on. Wait. Don't leave just yet. Oh, you still there? Hang on. Wait. Hang around. You waiting? Okay, cool. Check it out. There's a top 10. Went over the top 10. That's cool, right? But we have 3 games that are in the runner-up within this top 10. That didn't happen to me. Number 1 on that list, Rumblefish 2. That game is really cool. It's unfortunate that that game never got a console release, but it's a very, very cool game. Has a lot of cool combos, lots of cool characters. I think that's one of Dimp's early fighting games as well, released by Sammy like way back when. I suggest you go check that out. The game's really cool. After that, my other runner-up, Tekken 7. That game, there's nothing to say about that game. That game's just exciting. I always love watching Tekken 7. I know that some people feel some type of way about Season 3, but I think Tekken 7 overall is a pretty damn cool game. It has a lot of cool things to offer the players. I know sometimes you can't really please everybody when these nerfs and busts with these patches and all that good stuff with these fighting games, but I think Tekken 7 has definitely proven itself to be a phenomenal game, and I think that it's done wonders for the fighting community. My last, Dragon Ball FighterZ. I think Dragon Ball FighterZ is a really cool game. It has its ups and downs. I may not play it that often, but I do admit that I love watching the Twitter combos. There's always some cool tech I tend to see, like people be like, you know, level 1 sparking TOD from like this many bars. Like for some reason or another, I just like seeing that, and it's cool seeing how people are being creative with the game in regards of combos and strategy and stuff like that. So it's really, really cool. And it didn't make it into the top 10, but these are my runner-ups. Now, typical YouTube jargon once again. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the things that you do down there below, you know, that thing. Tell me your top 10, tell me your runner-up. You know, talk to me, give me the feedback. I want it all. Just like, now for real, we out of here. Deuces, gooses.